it was my old band and my former protector.
He said to me, Jenny, I have this piece of music in my head and I recorded it because I don't want to forget it.
We as pan men, we don't have a brain that we could try to do something. I like music that come vibe and people want to dance.
And beat us this year in a dilemma. Which tune to render for kitchener?
It's gonna be go doubt it, go doubt it. We sit down and write we old song.
Welcome back to the Now Morning Show on this Friday morning, just about 19 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. Now, the film festival is in full swing and 110 films will be screened from now until September 28th. And joining us to talk about one of those films is producer of one of those films, Mr. Mark Loquan. He would have been the producer of Journey and the impact of Pan on the Move. Mr. Loquan, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Morning, Kimberly. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Hi, everyone.
So happy to have you here. Now, Mr. Loquan, you are the producer of this amazing film. You're also the president of NGC, and you don't want to focus on that too much. But how do you wear all those hats? How do you navigate that space?
Well, I think the stresses of work are quite enough, but I think these kinds of areas I've been in music for long before I joined NGC.
Right.
So I think one of the hats I wear has been a composer for pan music for over 20 years. And now getting into the world of storytelling about people in pan. And one of them is Dr. Ray Holman.
Dr. Ray Holman. So I saw a piece of the trailer for the film, and so normally producers are expected to be the silent partner. You know, they invest in the film and they go back, but you seem to be so involved in the process. You are part of the interviews and all the filmmaking. How were you so involved in this particular project? Was it the subject that you were covering?
Well, of course, this particular topic is close to me because it's related to composition for music. And this is where it all started in 1972. 50 years ago, a 28-year-old guy, Ray Holman, he was arranging for Starlift at the time. Boogsy was playing under him as a little boy, I would say, a teenager. And what happened was it was quite normal for Kitchen and Sparrow's music to be played at Panorama. But this young guy at the time said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to rebel. and that was quite a seismic shift in a way to have an arranger say, I'm going to compose my own music. So as a 28-year-old, Ray Holman did that. And in 1972, Pan on the Move was born, played by Starlift. They came third. But Len Boogsy Sharp carried on the torch, so to speak, because at that same year, Phase 2 was that was formed by Boogsy and other people. And if you know Boogsy's music, he went off and he did his own music compositions and arranged for decades. So I think what Ray Holman had started back in 1972 was a spark that said to us, look, we can do this ourselves. We can compose our own music. Strangely enough, where we are today, it's Calypsonian's music. There was a bunch of original music, as you know.
Yeah.
Pan by Storm by Ken Fillmore, musical Volcano, Boogsy's music, Woman is Boss, Misbehave, and all of these songs. And now where we are today is soca music, right? So it's been shifting, it's been changing. But I hope, though, that this journey that is shown Republic Day, first film, 12:30 p.m. in Movietown, can say to us, look, Republic Day is a day when we think about going on our own. Kind of like, it's not to say the worlds can't coexist. I think they can.
Yes.
So it's not a matter of doing either or. But I think there can be more music composed for our own instrument by the arrangers themselves.
I love how you drew that similarity to us becoming a republic on Republic Day, and of course the similarity of Ray Holman going on his own and crafting his own path. And I'm wondering, how did the film become a part of our local film festival?
Well, it's, you go through your official selection process. I must give credit, though, to the director and associate producer, that's Jarrell Forbes and Tyka Phillip. They actually did all the work, right? They actually did all the interviews, put everything together. Yeah. And, I entered it into the film festival like anyone would as a film producer, and it's either selected or it's not selected. So thankfully to the film festival, this was a good movie to show, and on Republic Day could be better. So I think that I give thanks for that.
Now, it's a 47-minute documentary. I'm just wondering how difficult or challenging it would have been to put this entire thing together. How long was that process?
Yeah, that was really challenging, I have to say, because this was being done, it started, I would say, 2020, and we did the filming. You would see us with some mask on and all of these things were going on. But even during that time, there was a lot of technical difficulties with putting this all together. 50 years ago, trying to get all the people that were involved, even singing Diane, who actually sang it for the first time. I mean, they got her in New York, tracked her down, did interviews. Alvin Daniel, who wrote the lyrics of the song, get his perspective of it. And at that time, there was a lot of, research going on because of, the carnival shifted due to polio from February to May 1972. So that was a major event. And at the same time, you had this story that got lost somewhere along the line, but it's so significant for the sort of history of our pan music.
Yeah.
So I give full tribute to Dr. Ray Holman, Dr. Len Bugsy Sharp, and by the way, during this project, they were both conferred their honorary doctorates.
Yes, wow. So
By
congratulations to them as well.
Congratulations to them, and it just kind of lended that significance to the project, that their work was recognized over so many years, and they're bringing their own creativity with their own music.
So we have these greats who have started to create and continue this legacy of pan music. As you see the pan sector now, do you think pan is in good hands? Do you think that there are people on the ground who can carry on this legacy?
There's certainly a lot of signs of that, and when you look at even the people playing in the band, there's a lot of young people. If you see how the pan has evolved all around the world, it's all in universities and so on and in schools. So in terms of, if you're talking Trinidad, I think so. There's a lot of signs in the junior panorama. There's incredible talent that you see on display. I wish it would get more coverage and sustainable, input. Because
how do you think we can make it more sustainable?
I think we should tell the stories. I think we should tell the stories of our young people. I mean, I'm starting with Ray Holman, 50 years ago. But as you see, we started a series. I said we, but I started a series called A Better Tomorrow. I'm doing it with Maria Nunes now. And that is another series that is focusing on the story of people, starting with Kareem Brown, and now 5 Women in Pan. That is now rolling out. Actually, the third one is tonight at 7 p.m.
Right.
On music literacy. But I would say if we start with focus on the young generation and also get it into the schools and education is where it all starts, and that's how we appreciate it.
Of course. Now, at the top, we would have mentioned that you wear many hats. I actually learned recently, well, today, that it must also include composition as well. For those who may not be in the film industry or have a film background, but they have this passion and they have this story that they want to tell, what words of advice can you give to them?
I would say get a good producer.
Are you offering your services at this time?
Well, I would say I wouldn't say I'm a producer. I would say I'm an executive producer, where the ideas come and say, well, I want to tell this story. But I still have to find a good producer, director, editor, and I mean, that's important. So for this particular movie, Pan on the Move, it was Gerald Forbes I went to, who kind of did all the groundwork, put all the pieces, get all the camera work, put it all together. That's important. If you want to tell a story, get the quality output, make sure it flows, everything. There's so many details to this whole thing that you do need the correct team for that.
Well, Mr. Loquan, often when you talk to filmmakers, they would say finances are a big issue because they don't get the funding to really put into the projects that they want to make. And so how can they navigate that space to get the funding to tell the stories they want to tell?
Well, I think it first starts with getting the story that you want to tell and putting proposals together that says, this is what you want to do, this is what it course, the budget, etc. And then you really have to plan it out and approach different companies and so on. In this case, this is really myself trying to do this, right? I haven't reached out to other companies. I just thought it was worthwhile to do, and I just think it's so strong for our history.
Now, I know filmmakers normally don't like to answer this question because they're like, I want to leave it up to the audience interpretation. But if there's something that you want the audience to take away from this film, what would that be?
That we could pay tribute to people who are still with us, right? And you know, I think there's a lesson in trying to utilize some of these icons while they're here. Hopefully, that's one story. I mean, you would see some of the journey that Ray would have taken, right? Like you always see the person at the end, and you see them performing, and you see them. But you didn't see what he went through when he did this and said, I'm going to go against the tide. And, you know, pans were mashed up, and, you know, friends that he thought he had, you know, were no longer around. And, yes, so he took, I would say, the bulk of the insults in a way. And I guess if you go and see the story, you would see, well, you know, that's how it started off, but look at where we are. You know, there's so much great music that we benefited from, including Boogsy, including Robbie Greenidge, you know, Ken Fillmore, and many others, that said, I want to do like Ray and compose a song. So I hope it inspires others to also say, well, I could do this too. I could compose my own music, I could arrange it, I could be like Ray Holman, you know, so hopefully it inspires.
Nice. Well, Mr. Loquan, let me thank you so much for joining us on the Now Morning Show again. I know you would have been here last week as well. And of course, congratulations on this amazing project. And we look forward to see what else you produce in the future.
Thank you very much.
And that was Mr. Mark Loquan, the producer for a film which is actually showing tomorrow, Journey and the Impact of Pan on the Move. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.